All right. Hello. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Paul Traney here. I'm going to dive into some fun art lessons in Illustrator. And yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. It is your daily creative challenge in Illustrator. So I want to wish you well and say hello, Susan and Melanie and RB and Megan and Wade and Anthony. Awesome to have you here. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my desktop so you don't get too dizzy looking at that crazy background. But I'm so happy you guys are here. We will dive into this right now. Here we go. Afroja's here, Mercurial as well. Awesome, cool. I see Cheka from, I don't know, on Periscope. So I'll just make sure that you guys have this link. I'll have to paste it in there. But as we scroll down, we can see we've done a number of things. This week has largely been about more like art history and kind of taking what you know about art and design and just creating some fun work. So yesterday was surrealist art, which was cool to see. Also in the Discord, see plenty of that. Super cool. And today is all about sort of creating some graphic portraits. Okay, so we're going to vectorize a photo, right? And simplify those lines, clean it up. There's basically two different ways to do it, and that's what I'm going to show you today. Graphic portraits, you can think of Frida Kahlo. She did a ton of graphic portraits because, hey, nobody knows you better than you, so you might as well do a portrait of yourself if you want to. Also, I want to point out these portraits of Andy Warhol's of Marilyn Monroe. So this is more in line with what we're going to do today, but just two different styles. These are just like screen prints, just so you know. That's what his original was. And ours is going to be created in Vector in Illustrator. So there's your inspiration. This should be good. Costa Mesa here, California. Awesome. Bangladesh as well. Oh, I don't know why I'm having such a hard time pasting in that link. But nonetheless, let's just do this. There we go. As far away as Iran. That's awesome. So feel free to join me on behance.net/Adobe Live. You'll download that file, by the way. So I just pasted in that link. So you're going to get it here. Boom. Get started. Get that file. Use your own image if you want to. But this is the lovely portrait we're going to use, right? And then you're going to open up that file. Open up that Illustrator file. It's this Portraits Illustrator file. We can see this image right here, right, that we're going to use, and some other text as well, just some quotes that I like to encourage you to check out in my info. But right here, we're going to start with this portrait. When it comes to portraits, you can do things two different ways, right? Mainly it is going to mean either outlining it yourself, so manually, or trying an automated process. So we're going to go through that automated process, and then we'll go through most of the cleanup. But one way, the first way, the manual process would be coming down here, using the pen tool, right? And coming in and outlining, say, the nose, for instance. That's what I do, try to take all that in the shadow, right? That might be one element. And be going through and making everything vector that way, right? Which we know is going to take a lot of work, right? Which is why we'd want to vectorize this portrait and see what happens. So let's delete that. What we could do is you could take this layer. If you ever want to create a backup, you can just drag that layer one down to that plus sign, and now you have a copy. So you can always keep like a backup if you want to, right? And just turn that off, just kind of keep that around just in case, and we can compare it to the original, okay? So that would be a nightmare for you. All right, Viola, well then this is for you because this is what you need to do. So with any raster image, so pixel-based image, these are all just pixels. With any pixel-based image, right, we see all these lovely pixels, we can vectorize it, okay? We're gonna vectorize it by, right up here, we get options for it at the top with that image selected, okay? If you don't see this top bar, know that it's the control bar, right? But that's what we can see right up here. We can see image trace. hey, that's what I would like to do. Now watch what happens. You get a number of options in here through this flyout menu. I'm just going to select 3 colors, and I'll show you what you're going to get initially. And this always happens, and it's okay. But right in here, tracing may proceed slowly with this large image. Would you like to continue? Or you can go into Object Rasterize. So that's what I typically like to do. It's saying, hey, this image is really large. We're going to create so many vectors. Are you kidding me? Just go to Object down to Rasterize. And this just is a way of simplifying this image. So we want to simplify it. Okay. And what I'm going to do, Colby, what's up? Good to see you here, bud. I'm going to change this to grayscale. Why not? And I'm going to change the resolution down to 72 dpi, right? So just get rid of the color information. I'm going to add the color anyways. Make it grayscale, screen 72 dpi, right? Background white. Click OK. And now we have a simplified image, right? So that's what you want to start with. You could always crop the image as well. So if there's a lot of this image that I can work with, well, guess what? I can crop it accordingly as well. So I can come in and just take some part of this image like so, hit enter, you get the idea. Less information that gets vectorized, but right in here, this is what I want to do. To make this the littlest amount of work possible, I go with 3 colors, right? I just want to work with 3 colors. That's it. We're going to keep this simple. Selecting 3 colors, right? It'll go through and it'll do that vectorizing. Okay, so there we are. Basically traces the image, right? We're viewing the tracing result as it says up here at the top. We can see the tracing result with the outlines. So look at all those vectors that it made, right? We can see the outlines only. You get the idea. Outlines with the source image. And this is what happens. This is what we need to clean up. We need to clean up all these jagged little lines, right? But again, this is the tracing result. It's I'm not able to work with it just yet, because right up here at the top, you're going to try to change it, by the way, and you're like, I can't change it. It's because you need to click expand right up here. Bam, expand it. Oh, now I can start to kind of select some of these vectors, but everything is still grouped. So you need to expand it and then also ungroup it as well. Boom. Right, so there we are. Ungrouping that, and now we can see I could select the blacks there, the whites, all of that good stuff. All right. You ready for a cleanup? Let's just dive into this, right? It looks pretty good. I still think we need to smooth out all of these shapes and all this stuff. It's going to look better if it's smooth, right? It would look better if she has a solid background. And that's the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this background. I can start deleting some of these elements. We'll just kind of go through, hit delete, you know, deleting some of these different parts, right? It's all pretty straightforward from there. Okay, it gets a little bit more tricky because some of these elements are going to be connected. Okay, so as I go right over here, I'll select this shape. You can see this shape goes, oh, so sorry for zooming in so much, goes into her eyebrow, right? And it goes down here as well. So let me actually just change the color of it for you. So now you can see everywhere where it's bleeding into the image. So this is what I do in that case, right? I go over here and I select, and we've used this a lot, to be honest with you. Like, I've been using this knife a lot lately. So be careful with it, it's sharp. Here's your sharp tools, your scissors and your knife. But right in here, behind the eraser, select the knife. Now I can go in here and, you know, zoom in on this and just cut it. Just like, hey, you know what? You be a separate shape, okay? Let's go down here. Hey, guess what? You be a separate shape as well. So we separated out the background, right, from the face. So now I can delete that, right? So that's what I do in all these different instances. Come through here. Let's just kind of slice that like so. Let's take it all the way down. Slice it right there. Any of those issues that you have, that one I kind of screwed up on. Slicing like that. Okay, so that's all I'm doing. Okay, there's pieces that I don't need. We need her eyebrow. Let's get rid of that big earring. We can add our own jewelry later, but we'll make cleaner versions of it. But that's basically how I would clean this up. Get rid of that content that you don't need, and just end up with the content that you do. Even if I wanted to take all of this, still using my knife, I can come down here and I can just cut like that, kind of around the neck, because I want to actually keep just the neck, but not these other parts, right? So again, lovely little portrait we're ending up with. And again, just to recall, this is just a vectorization of a portrait. You could always rewind to this video if you want to see, but all I did, starting from the original with it selected, you want to go up to the top and just do an image trace. You could do 3 colors. You could play with as many of these as you want. If you are doing a logo, there's a black and white logo, which largely does what silhouettes do as well. So keep that in mind. In fact, let's just try this just for fun. Let's just do silhouettes. See, made it all black. That's why we didn't choose that earlier. Okay, so we'll go back in here, turn that on. Here's that piece that I can work with and do some more of that cleanup. Right, here we go. You ready for this? The slicer is my new skull. Yeah, that's about right. Okay, so this is what I like to do at this point. Okay, so we would really like to, we could do a number of things. We could do so many things. I'm trying to think which direction I want to go. You could stop right there and do one more fun thing, by the way. It's like I could select all these graphics right in here, and I can change the color of it. Because again, maybe I want it to look like Marilyn Monroe right over here, Andy Warhol's Marilyn Monroe. Well, I could do that. I can go in, select that, go to edit, edit colors, recolor artwork, right? Instead of making it that boring gray, we can come over here and select brights, right? Let's select brights. Bam! There we go. We have the lovely brights. We could lock down those colors. We could rotate this and try out just like some fun different colors to work with. It's doing the obvious, basically. Cool. There we are. Now it's just like maybe a little bit more interesting to look at. All right, so what I like to do is I like to separate. Oh, did I miss some color? I might have missed some color up here. Select same, fill color, delete. There we go. That's a magic trick. Again, the rest of this is all about doing cleanup. Okay, I noticed that there were still some grays in there that maybe I didn't select, maybe they're hidden, whatever the case may be. It's like, these grays, how do I get rid of them? Well, just select one, go up to select, and go down to same, and you want to select the same fill color. There it is. Bam, select them all, right? Hit delete, because I don't need those anymore. I'll select the hair now, and I'll do select the same fill color, and this is what I like to do. Select that same fill color, select all those blacks, cut it, and then put it on a separate layer. So right over here, we'll have our darks, like so. Pasting this in place, edit, paste in place. We'll have our darks, we'll have our medium colors, and then we'll have our lights. So our medium colors are going to be these blues. Select same, fill color, cut. Actually, no, that's not the one I wanted to cut. I'm going to select the pink, select same, fill color, cut it, and put it on a layer above the highlights. Like that. There we are. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. We have the darks, the mediums, the midtones, so the midtones, and then the highlights. Okay, just 3 colors. All right. Sometimes your knife doesn't slice. Make sure it's sharpened. I don't know if you have a knife sharpener, but once you make sure it's sharpened, make sure your objects are selected, because they do need to be selected in order to cut. Okay, this is the problem now though. Like, look at this. This is like really chunky. So this is what you're gonna run into. Guess what? Life is full of hard work. So look at all these points. I want to have a smooth curve up here. Well, what I would do is I would hit N for the pencil. Here's my lovely pencil. I would make sure my pencil is nice and smooth, because I want to smooth out all these lines. Okay. and click OK. So I'm going to use the pencil tool and I can just scrub over this line, kind of starting right here. I'm going to make sure that when I roll over this line, that new asterisk disappears. So it's going to say, hey, you're actually going to continue this current line. So I can do that. I can just continue it down there. Smooth it out like so. Okay, so that's what I would do in this case. Hit N, start right here, do a huge swoosh, and connect it right there. And this would be the process that I would do for this project. Right up here, if I want to smooth this out as well, smooth it out like so, right? Get rid of that white. Notice how I'm actually going out kind of beyond, like kind of covering a larger area, because if I turn off, say, these midtones, this is the blacks. The blacks only go right up to the edge. So you're going to have that problem where you're going to have, you know what, maybe the blacks cut in all that way. Oops. Like that. So anyways, that's the cleanup I would do. Come down here, fix this. N, redraw line, zoop. Come down here, we have all this kind of craziness. All this thing is super lumpy. I want to make that smooth. Just a matter of selecting that line, hitting N, and then drawing out that nice curve like I'm doing now. Cool, hopefully that makes sense, right? We want to keep the main components of this face. So I would want to go in here and say, hey, for this little highlight right here, this should actually be white. This would be better white. Also the white of her eye right there, that could also be white as well. So just a lot of these little cleanup points that you need to do. Let's do this. Some more cleanup that we want to do. We want to select this object, right? And we're going to go into, not our paintbrush, but our blob brush tool, okay? So our blob brush will allow us to paint with a fill color. So N brings up pencil. So blob brush, open bracket, just like in Photoshop, we can make this smaller and just brush over that. So that's what I want to do, just like kind of come in, just kind of maybe brush over parts like I'm doing right now. So that's another option if you want to make things smoother in certain areas. Let's see what other parts. Like right down here, maybe here, I don't know. It really helps to zoom out and kind of see what you have to work with. Right, and by the way, compare it to the original. So right in here, like the blob brush, I have this black color selected, right? Blob brush tool selected, and then just paint to add to that part. And then be mindful that, of course, this blue is going to be on top of the black, which is why you don't see it, don't see all of that black right in there, okay? Another thing I could do with this black, by the way, here's another thing. Like, guess what? Like, all of this, all of this, like, you know what? This all needs to be just black, to be honest with you, right? I can make it all black, so let's get a little extreme. Blob brush tool for the win. I don't want all these vectors. You're just giving me problems at this point. All those colors are going to show through anyways. It's going to be fine. We could do something like that. Guess what? There's the face. There's the face. We have that overlapping. And then, of course, some cleanup we still need to do right over here. Cool. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's bring that in. Oh, I did have her eyelash sticking out right here as well. So if we don't want to use the pencil and redraw, we could use the pen tool. Hit P for pen. Add a point. Maybe add a point down here. Use your direct selection tool. Come in here. Oops, so sorry. Make sure you grab that point. Ugh. There we go. Bring it down. Let's get this lovely lash kind of coming out like so, kind of like that. There we go. That's a little extreme for the lash, but you get the idea. When in doubt, blob it out. Yeah, sure, why not? That works. Okay. From here, I would do definitely like some more cleanup. So I'm just gonna kind of just start working on this, like started looking at this as an actual design. Like I don't want these elements, right? For this blob brush, again, right over here, let's just paint that out. Let's make this one solid color. This might be a situation where I might want to add my own sort of like earrings in this case, because I think there's some fun elements we could add. So that's where I'd come in and start to recreate some of the things from the original. Remember, our original, she had those lovely hoops, which were awesome. So let's go ahead and do that right now, okay? Cancel. Joop. Big earrings. Okay, so check this out. We're gonna have some fun here. Why not? Flip it. Here's our black line. We're gonna make these yellow. So we're gonna give her some lovely yellow earrings. There we are. Here's one line, okay? Now what I want to do is I want to add a secondary line. So the appearance panel, I'm going to add a second stroke, okay? Adding that second stroke. Bam. So sorry. Hate it when I don't have that. Select a dash line. There we go. Okay. Rounded, rounded, gap. 0. There we are. Just made some circles. Do you guys see how I did that? I added a second stroke, and for this second stroke, I made it a dashed line with some spacing, and I made it larger, and that gives us these lovely hoops. So I just did that in red just so you could see it. Ultimately, I want this to be like a gold, and I want this stroke to be a little thinner, right? So done and done. Super fun. We could take this one, bring it right over here, and now we have our second set. Great thing is even as I distort the circle, it doesn't distort any of those like beads there, okay? So with that done, this one is gonna be behind, so I'm gonna cut that. Let's bring back the face. There's one. We'll put the second earring right there. Notice how it goes behind her head. And now we can build out a square behind her whole head, kind of like this. Zoop. Send it back. New art. Let's reduce to basic appearance. Let's give it a blue or something like that. I don't know, just working on it. You guys get the idea. Cool. Isn't it pretty cool, right? So I would probably redraw her shoulders as well, because we want to do a cool Marilyn Monroe style piece. I would probably crop it as well. I do a number of things, right? I'd probably crop this a little better. About right down here. Take this hoop, adjust it out, kind of like that, so it doesn't just follow that weird shape. If I know anatomy, I know the nose. The bottom of the nose is going to line up with the bottom of the ear, so that's how I know the placement for that earring. Pen tool, let's kind of come down here. Let's kind of draw this out like so. Zoop, 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 zoop. All right. Sample, send it to the back, cut it, paste it. You get the idea. Paste. There we go. Did it. Done, done, done. All right, we got our portrait done. Awesome, right? Cool. You guys have fun. I have like 2 minutes left. Let's get all Andy Warhol-like. We can have like one here. Zoop. One next to it, right? Let's group that one together. Let's group this one together. Let's take this second one and make it a different color just for fun, right? Wait for it, people. Edit colors, recolor artwork. Making sure they're kind of all the same intensity, but changing kind of where they're at along the spectrum. Okay, so now we can have this one, for instance. Click OK. Okay, so that's all I want you to do. Have some fun with this. It's turning into lovely Andy Warhol vector-like portrait, like so. Big thing is just have fun with it. Have fun playing with colors. Again, just make sure they all have the same intensity is what I would do. Okay, why not? Done. Last one. Hurry, Paul. Hurry, there's no time. Ugh. God. Lock it. Rotate it. There we go. Done. Boom. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate you. Hopefully you learned something about vectorizing portraits in this case. Do one of yourself or of this picture that I gave you. Once you have that done, go ahead and export it out and post it to Discord, which is what I'm doing right now. So there it is. There's the final. This is the one I'll get posted to Discord, but you get the idea. Okay. Fun work, isn't it? See, life doesn't have to be hard. So feel free to do that, post it, and would love to see what you come up with, everyone. So this is your vector portrait. Awesome. A little Andy Warhol-esque. You can go a little Frida Kahlo with more detail if you want, but you get the idea. There it is. All right, everyone. Have a beautiful day. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. You guys are fantastic. I'm going to be... It's already, what, Tuesday? I only have till this Friday before we wrap this up, but a little more art history this week, and I'll be back tomorrow. So stick around. We got a fun day of live streams planned. Thanks, everybody. We'll see ya.